ahead and get started.
Sounds good.
So welcome everybody. I think I see a lot of familiar names on here. So basically, you guys know the drill. We got Q&A and we got chat open. So any questions you have along the way, feel free to ask. But this is the Works of the Next webinar for Advantech. Brian, you want to just take over and tell us about Advantech and the different things we're going to talk about today?
Sure, love to. Good morning, everybody. And for people who is outside of US, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Brian from Advantech. So today I'm going to do a quick introduction of Advantech. For some of you may not be familiar with Advantech or only know a portion of Advantech. This will be more like a quick review. Second of all, it will be why do we do this? Why does Advantech collaborate with the network Optix? Since Advantech, we are known for a hardware company. What kind of incentive, what kind of benefits, the reason behind the big why we're doing all this to make it, to have this collaboration. Then we'll be going through on some of product introductions for you, then following on to Q&As. So moving forward, so Advantech, we're a 37-year-old company, started from making an automation car, talk about communications. Back in the days when the HP machines, they are individual machine intelligent, but when the intelligent machine just doesn't communicate with other machines quite well. So founder of the company started making a car that can help the two systems communicate. Back in the days, there's no term like IoT, but today we start looking at it, it will be more of a machine-to-machine communications. As of last year, we did $1.8 billion. Nice thing is we're basically, majority of the product that we have is in-house design manufactured. We have manufactured in China and Taiwan. So with the recent incident, earlier this year, I think a lot of us, we got an impact because of a supply chain that's heavily relied from China. Our Taiwan facility was able to take over. In addition to that, we have some of the local integration sites with the, since we have some local warehouse and buffers in the stock, we're able to fulfill quite a bit of orders for the US and North America markets based on the integration site we have in US. Okay, so essentially there are two layers of what we call the disaster recovery offerings that we're doing. Main manufacturing site, Taiwan, China, and there are 17 local integration sites throughout the whole world. We have a very broad portfolio. We offer from sensors to gateways to networking devices to servers to IOs, and there will be a page later to kind of show you an overall picture. Just give you a scope of number of products that we manufacture today. As of today, Advantech own SKU that is active. We're producing on a monthly average per month, we produce about 170,000 active SKUs. All of those has more than 7 year plus. So we're not a commercial company. We are hardcore born industrial company who offers long life cycle and rugged, robust products. The very last one is something we have changed, started about 4 years ago. As of today, a lot of people, we're hearing more and more voices from the market. They want a solution that is ready to go. They want a solution they know what would be the best combination. They would like to see something they can just take it, plug it in, minimum effort. They can focus on their value of servicing their clients and minimize their engineering times, developing a new product, develop new solutions. As the market gets more diversified, the voice starts getting stronger and stronger. So started in 2015, our founder has a vision, or if customers asking for it, and selling hardware alone is not really helping the market, what can we do? So we start talking about this co-creation. In the early days, we're basically very similar to what other people do is we work with a software company that test theirs and they claim theirs, and we basically tell them, hey, this is how will work with that one. But how about performance? How about reliabilities? How about fine tunes? Those are the essence to make the solution can be more appealing. So started in 2018, we start moving to the second phase of what we call the co-creation. And today, by working with network Optix is a very good example. We're not just saying this software and hardware is compatible. Tony and his team take extra miles to test the software to make sure it has the performance. The platform that we suggested is really going to bring out that true value that you can demonstrate to your clients. And this is why we're here today. So the big why is there is a solution's been pre-validated with some efforts being invested that can help you to reduce time. First of all, you can save you time to find the right product to fit. Second of all, you already have the source of your technologies, tested all this product already. Performance has been verified, compatibility has been verified. All this front end engineering investments is basically have been taking care of a good part of it. So moving forward, looking at the phase 3, this will be moving toward a cloud service site, which we're still pretty far from that point. A lot of cloud service has been going on, but we haven't seen something really concrete offering that as a service that can be bringing revenue. So if you look at on this page, earlier I mentioned that Advantech offers from sensor to server. So this is a good portfolio. If we look at on the bottom layer, that's what we call the IoT sensing devices. This will include product we've been going around for 20 plus years, ARM family. The one is a remote I/O acquisition, data acquisition modules that people can use that to connect to digital I/Os, analog I/Os. They can connect that to the field bus, EtherCATs, Modbus, various different type of data that can be collected in the market and also in the facilities. Second, there what we call the edge intelligence. This is where the variety of gateway, and that's where the strong core of Advantech today is. We offer more than 1,000 different gateways, a combination of x86 and particularly the Jetson platform we're introducing today. By moving a layer up, what we're doing with is collecting based on different market application and requirements, and the pool of a product that we offer. Ourselves, including myself, we start to become not much of a sales, but more of a consultants that to help people to collect the right combination that will best fit. In addition to that, with a collaboration with network Optix, that we're able to print out not just a combination of hardwares, but now it's a combination with the software that become a solution that can make it easy for you to deliver to the market. So throughout the whole Jetson product portfolio, there are a total of 5 products based on Jetson Nano, based on Jetson TX2, and also with the Xavier. And
for those, sorry, Brian, for those that don't know, Jetson is the developer platform for kind of low-powered, GPU-powered hardware devices, right?
Yes.
So Jetson started off, like I want to say, like three years ago, with the
right.
TX1, and then they have the TX2, and they have the Nano, they have the Xavier AGX,
Yes.
and they're working on the Xavier NX right now.
Yes.
And each kind of progressive generation gets a little bit more powerful. The goal of that is basically to help. The Jetson platforms used to drive a lot of autonomous vehicles and robotics, but it also, because of the way that it's architected, it's really nice for AI as well, because of the many cores that can run simultaneously. So just making sure these guys understand. So you can find out about it by going to just looking for NVIDIA Jetson, and then you go to the NVIDIA page and you can check out all the different Jetson hardware that's out there. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Right, thanks, Tony. Well put. So main differential between Jetson, the NVIDIA Jetson product family comparing to x86. this is GPU centric. So heavy video intensive. If you're familiar with GPU server, one thing that we're hearing from the market is traditionally they've been using the x86 box with the GPU card. Either it's a P4 or it's a Quadro or it's a Tesla or it's a Grid. One of the downside of those platforms, it's a good part, it's very powerful. They can do hundreds or even thousands of image analyze near real time. But the problem is as the industrial IoT continue to grow, not all the facilities are able to provide 400 watts, 500 watts, or even higher powers. Or in some cases, for example, if you look at on the street, there's one camera, and you're doing traffic monitorings, you are doing traffic countings, you are doing measurements of speeds. Frankly, by doing this, you don't necessarily need to have a machine that is that powerful. At the same time, when you have an image that is being heavily relied on GPU, the CPU doesn't really do a whole lot in those cases. So this is what NVIDIA are thinking. If they're able to fulfill a lower power consumption market, it's going to be 1 or 2 camera centric or 3 to 4 camera centric. All they need to do on that box is just do video analysis, and they do a lot better. A mini size of GPU server right in the field. So this is the whole background why Jetson product comes into the market. So by fitting into that, so we kind of separate the product design into 2 categories. One is the edge AI systems. This will mainly focus on industrials in the fields, for the factory sites, oil and gas, any of those. Second of all will be on the surveillance AIs. So that will be the AI NVR. This for the AI NVR, it's their offerings of Jetson Nano, which if you look at on the lower right hand, MIC-730IVA, that's a Jetson Nano, based on same platform, same architecture. The higher performance will be the Xavier, the high-end performance. That is the MIC-730IVA. Same thing with the 8 ports, same platform, just much more powerful. I was looking at to have NVR system to run 8 streams simultaneously. 730IVA will be the best one for you to go for. For the edge AI system, this will go down to 1 or 2 cameras. If you're looking at to do machine inspections, or we're seeing some of the traffic intersections, they'll start to pick it up in the product such as MIC-730AI or MIC-720AI. For the lower one, MIC-710AI, we haven't seen a whole lot yet, but with the Xavier NX that is coming up, we're using this unit, and by changing the module from the Nano to the Xavier NX, this will basically boost up. And just to give you an idea of the size, so this is what it looks like from a lineup view. So 710, if you kind of take out your hands, that's a size that's pretty much the size of the system, about the size of your hand from the palm, including the fingers. If you look at the 720, it's about the length of a palm size more. 730 is roughly about the same size. So we are looking at this as a very compact, very small, and yet powerful into video analysis based on 3 architectures, technology based on
so can you go back real fast one slide?
Yeah, sure.
So what are some of the other differences between like the ones that are industrial versus the ones that are made more for the surveillance? Is there, so for example, the surveillance ones have 8 ports of PoE on them, and the smaller ones they don't?
So the 2 gray box on either side, those are more of a commercial indoor NVRs, 8 ports. It will take temperature between 0 to 50. The 3 middle ones right there, those are the fanless. more rugged. It will take a temperature between -20 to 50 or 60 range.
So the middle three are really meant for like industrial environments, like production monitoring for the most part, or like extreme kind of temperature situations where you've only got like one camera attached to them. Do they have any? I guess my question for the middle ones is: do they have any PoE on them, or are they just more for almost direct connection to the camera?
On all three of this in the middle, it doesn't have PoE, but our customer use it. They basically connect it to a PoE switch.
Gotcha.
So let's say if on a one intersection, they'll just need one. But the most common one we're seeing is the middle model right there, the MIC-730AI, based on Jetson TX2. Because it's original code from TX1, it's an easy migration for them into the TX2. So this is the one they're seeing in the traditionally they have one to intersection, maybe one or two PCs. Now they just need one.
So the innards, like the Jetson part of it, is consistent. Each one of those, the Jetson platform includes like a ARM CPU and then a GPU, right?
That's correct.
Typically, it's tough for most VMSs to run on an ARM CPU unless it's like their own embedded hardware that they've done a kind of custom version for. You know, one of the benefits of Network Optix is that we work really closely with NVIDIA, and we've been working with them on this Jetson family for like 3 years now. And our server and client application can run on that ARM chipset. And if you look in the download section, we actually have like the server and the client installer files for the Jetson hardware. So it's basically an advantage of our solution in that it has pre-built packages for these devices, right? So just want to make that clear. Cool.
Well, Tony, you brought up a really good point. Jetson platform, it's an ARM-based. It's not an Intel x86 or AMD x86 architecture. The Jetpack offer from NVIDIA, it will take some developments. So what we're doing in this collaboration, Advantech, we're building that OS ready to go for the VMS software or to an AI software to be integrated on top of it. So what Tony and his team have done is take the system we have, run it on the current softwares.
Which is Ubuntu, right?
Yes, it's Ubuntu. Even the Ubuntu itself, we actually have a team just developing them. Just the product they offer is not something you can just open a box and start using it. That's the most challenging.
You have to create drivers for the ARM platform for the Ubuntu. Right? So when I got the box from Brian, he sent over the 730IVA. We're going to show you guys it later. It had a standard kind of Ubuntu install on it. And as you guys know, the Powered by NX products can all run on Ubuntu. So there was a very little work for me to get it to run our software, which is really nice. So for those of you out there that have Powered by NX products and you're looking for like an embedded ARM-based solution that's also capable of running some analytics, that's what makes this so attractive. So
save you the effort on developing your own software. It's challenging and time consuming. Okay, moving on is two of the major market and for the product we're going to introduce today, the MIC-730IVA. First of all, logistic warehouse. One of the things that we've seen the most is safety in warehouse. That has been a continuous discussion of afternoon warehouse. People are running, forklifts are whooshing throughout the warehouse. Accidents happens. Warehouse, when you have let's say, for example, with the current coronavirus, social distancing guidelines that seems to be likely to be emphasized and executed throughout months to come. How can we ensure people are safe in a warehouse? How can they be ensured previously, how can they be ensured to be safe from forklifts? Or they can be ensured from, now it's from people infections. So what our client have done, they have not got to the coronavirus or people distancing yet, but they're able to some of the solution we're seeing, they'll be able to do the analysis to identify forklift. They can identify people or to start raising alarms. So one thing additional to the MIC-730IVA, even though it's NVR box based on ARM, based on Jetson, the system itself also come with 8 digital input outputs. So this can simultaneously connect it to any of switch on and off. We have some clients, they have a switch, they have the I/O connected to like a gate. So when forklift is inside, they put up the gate or lower down the gate, or to turn on the flashlights or certain type of alarms. So you essentially looking at, you have one system can do minor control, that can do analysis to help you to have AI functions in this box. Okay, and for casinos, chip identification, that's one thing we're seeing customers start developing as well. Okay, other than that, we're seeing more and more people doing this on the multi-camera streamings. The beauty of it is you can have 8 high-definition camera running on this system at the same time. Okay, so that's why on this we have 8 PoE ports. All of them is PoE plus. They'll support up to 15.4 watts per port. So you can, that will fit about 70-80% of the cameras in the market today. Okay, it's just like NVR, nice looking box, low power consumption. So instead of having a PC runs 200, 300, 400 watts, I believe this system runs about 100 or less.
And then
so
internal capacity for hard drives, is it one 3.5-inch drive?
It can fit in 2 3.5-inch drives or 4 2.5-inch.
Gotcha. So with is there any upper limit on the size of the hard drive right now?
We have client using 16 terabytes today in the system.
So for two hard drives, you could have, and it has an operating system drive as well.
That's correct.
So, and that's a which type of drive?
2.5-inch, or they can just use a SSD module.
Okay, or an SSD module.
Yeah.
So basically, you could have 32 terabytes for 8 cameras on this thing.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So the most common configuration we see in the market is they use a USB thumb drive for their OS. Then they kept the 2 16 terabytes for their data. One thing to it's probably gonna, if you're seeing differently, just let me know in the chat room. Insurance, one thing people want to invest AI primarily is because the financial costs and the burden they're facing. The workers' comps, the claims of this damages increase that invisible operation cost. So one thing they want to save is by adapting these technologies and kept the data. We've been looking at people talking about 60, 90 days, 120 days. We have even clients who are talking about, want us to find a way to fit in 3 hard drives, and they want to store 210 days. I'm like, why do you need 210 days? Well, say insurance company, they can backtrace 210 days of data. And the workers, they can actually claim up to 210 days. So they want to keep all that information, basically have it stored there and to have analyzed data, so they don't have to go back and start taking out the tapes, or even just kind of, if they don't store that long, then they basically lose the claim. So this is the financial background to drive them to use something much more powerful, something to use them that can use for the longer term. Instead of having a separate storage, they want to do AI analysis, VMS, and storage all in one little box right here.
And that way they can just record like critical kind of events as opposed
Yes.
to like make boring movies, like I like to say.
Exactly. Okay, so this system is, it has USBs, it has HDMIs, as I mentioned earlier, 4 PoE plus, 2 COM ports, 8 digital input output. Okay, that's where we are in addition to the 8 PoE, the 8 digital input output, that's another part that is highly interested by our clients. They don't have to do another controller or I/O box separately. They can just basically have one system to take care of them all. Okay.
I think it might be the same slide, huh?
I think it is the same slide.
That's my fault.
Okay, no, don't worry. So a quick introduction. That's fairly quick on the 730. It's a fairly simple system, but yet very powerful. In addition to that, one of the services that we've been offering in US, as I mentioned earlier, there are 17 integration sites globally. In addition to our own chassis manufacturer, our own motherboard manufacturer, our own system integration sites in Asia. In US, actually this is a growing service that we are seeing year over year. Many of SIs come to us, or even large OEMs, they come to us as one of the difficulty is their clients require different configurations. So let's say for MIC-730IVA, for example, if clients say, okay, I don't want to do a hard drive, I want to do a SSD, a 2 terabytes or 3 terabytes of SSDs, I won't do one. Or they want an option of 1 SSD and 1 hard drives. But it may sound simple. If you do 1 or 2 systems, you can definitely do in-house, no problem. But when you start to do it in the quantity of 30, 50, 100 units a month, you start to have to prepare your own manpower in-house. And that will basically connect it to cost of the manpower, insurance, all that combined. So what they're doing is they're starting to ask more and more, and started more than 10 years ago when we started doing this, is, Advantech, can you help us to do this? Integrate it, preload the software, configure to order. So just like when you go to Dell website, you start click, 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 and 2 to 3 weeks later, you have a system arrive in your facility. Very similar service that we're offering here. The service we offer integration sites, basically, it can do as little as 1. So you can have MIC-730IVA with 1 3.5-inch hard drive. We can output that. You get the stock in-house. We can pretty much output that in about 5 to 7 working days. If you need to have, say, some customers say, I want to do 6 terabytes, 2 3.5-inch, yada, yada, yada. So all these companies can be fairly easy. And even for some of the clients, we even do drop ships for them and say, well, their clients know they're using Advantech, and they basically are working with us on setting up with the service contract. So they don't really mind for their clients to know this is a Advantech box. So we even offer to drop ship that box, integrate it, test it, load it with the software they needed, and send it to the end customer directly. So they save them a whole lot of effort. All they need to do when they do the integration, they order it a few days beforehand. We ship it to their client site. At the same time, they're sending their guys into the installation sites. So basically help them to solve all that operation cost and even to haggle with the hardwares.
So the process, right, would be like, let's say, talk to you, Brian. Yeah, I'm looking for this type of solution.
Yes.
You guys will build it, and then I'm assuming you'll brand it.
Right now, yes, it's under Advantech brand on this one.
It's under Advantech brand?
Yes, but if you're interested, we are doing rebranding. The Advantech logo can be removed. The FCC and CE label can be changed to your own brand. There'll be a fraction of cost involved.
So, of course, there's cost involved, but basically you could rebrand the hardware and sell it through your own channel, kind of with your own solution already installed upon it. And then all the certifications you guys take care of. So all the ones you've listed there, like UL and ISO stuff, will come along with that chassis. Yes,
definitely. So because the barrier to offer a Jetson platform in the market, it's high. There is some barriers. There's some effort, investments need to be done. Until today, Tony, you and I, we solved that problem for a big part of the market today.
Yeah.
And because of that barrier, the customer is fairly limited. So I'll be very frank, in the current Jetson platform, we're selling mainly on rebrandings. Customer take our box, they brand it into their own logo, their own models with their own softwares or with other people's softwares. But the key is turn this box into their own solution.
Right.
We have 90% of those in the US today.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but because of the barrier, by having this collaboration, you have that ticket into that door. You're able to offer high performance, video AI analysis, GPU-centric box, low power consumptions, all pre-tested, pre-validated. It's ready to go. Okay, and based on the software you're familiar with. So in Milpitas, since we're doing this, we have 200. This slide is about over a year ago. It's 355, but even up to today, I believe we have close to 500 people in the facility. That facility we are actually today, we're doing medical grade, we're doing clean room for semiconductors, we're doing oil and gas related platforms, we're doing a very wide range. So if you look at it, it's really a very broad portfolio with a small quantity of configurations. That's why we need all that people. And right in the heart of Silicon Valley. We are currently shipping monthly about $32 million worth of product, but with the impact we're looking at, we're still shipping roughly about 60 to 70%. Okay. Ordering productions. So we do have warehouse nearby and also on the same facilities. That's where we're able to output products. If you configure it, in most cases, we can ship it out within 5 to 7 days. Okay. Flexibility, this is fairly old right now. It was 350 complex configurations. The last update that we have on the monthly capacity right now, we can ship about 3,000 to 4,000 units now, because majority of the base system are leveraging from the Asian productions. In US, we just focus on putting options of upgrade RAM, storage, and image loadings, and this significantly increased their capacities. Okay, we have local support that supports the whole North America. So in overview of this facility, we have mentioned earlier, we have inventory is basically a full function. We have technical support, we have repairs, we have inventories, we have IQC areas that's mainly for OEM and ODMs for their designated parts or their consigned parts. That basically to make sure all the product goes in and receive that meets the spec that we were originally expecting. Okay, and there's a clean room productions. So you have, if you have customers looking to use this in the clean room requirements, this is a class 1000. So that means I think like every cubic feet, it's 1,000 particles. Okay, I believe. Don't pin me on the wall for that. But we have several semiconductor customers that are using this, particularly for the machines they're going to put into the fabs. That is right in the core of it. So they do require to have a clean room to do it. Okay, and the current production is about 10,000 square feet. We're doing expansions just right before this whole thing hits to expand that to about 15,000 square feet expanded by half because the growing demand that we're seeing in the market and we're seeing today, it's just overwhelming. This service does help our clients and partners to reduce their operation cost. And frankly, we're one of the very few to help them to reduce that supply chain and procurement just down to one single window. Instead of going multiple layers, buying system from this person, you have integration from that person. This kind of help them to kind of streamline that part of the operation cost. So 4 key values of benefiting by working with network optics. First of all, we've been saying over and over again, it save you engineering resource. Working on Ubuntu, if you have experience, it's great. Building driver, it's very difficult. By taking a NVIDIA package, it can help you save a big portion of the time, but unless you can really cross over to make a complete solution, it's a pretty big. unless you have the right resource, you have the right people, that barrier may be smaller. But if you don't, it's a chasm a lot of people are not able to cross over. So today we're basically to fill that and to make sure this box is ready to go. It's a pre-validated performance. Tony have tested them. It runs on 8 camera. So one of the conversation in the early stage, people start saying, hey, we got this news like NVIDIA Jetson Nano, really low cost, you can run 8 cameras. That's over a year ago. But today, we'll tell you, no. If you're gonna do recording on 8 cameras, yes. But if you wanna do real-time analysis based on 8 camera, Xavier is the best one for you to go. Okay, so this takes us a lot of time to figure out, but for you, you don't have to spend that time because we spend that time already. It's a VMS gateway.
To be fair, I mean, like even the Nano, it depends on how optimized the AI solution is for the hardware itself. I know a year ago, a lot of the computer vision guys were working on the Nano because it was something new and that was small, and they figured out. Well, part of it was a lot of the analytics that are out there right now are overly resource intensive because they're early versions of the product. And so I think you had a slide up earlier with the NVIDIA DeepStream SDK.
Yes.
The DeepStream SDK is basically a pipeline that makes it easier to get video from or to the GPU for analysis. But it's really like it's a manual SDK in that you still have to discover the cameras, you still have to know what the stream type is, you have to figure out how to deal with the different types of codecs that are coming in and all that kind of additional stuff. With Meta and the metadata SDK, Network Optix helps solve that problem because once you've installed their server application on one of these devices, it's going to do the same thing as DeepStream, plus a lot more. So it's able to allow developers to ask for like compressed or uncompressed streams, individual frames. And so combining the solutions together also makes it possible to really optimize analytics for this specific set of hardware so that you're running at a much more efficient rate for the analytics. But it does require some participation from the partner who's doing the video analytics. And a lot of these guys right now, they're not yet in the ARM arena because they don't, they're either CPU based or they're big GPU based, or they don't have an installer for the ARM kind of Linux environment yet. So there are some challenges to get through if you're creating a box with this, but because it's a single unit and because it's coming from Advantech and it's kind of encapsulated all in one, if they work with this device, then they're going to be compatible with most of the Advantech solutions that are coming out, and then they're going to be able to do things like say, okay, well, this with the 710 IVA, you're going to be able to do this many channels. With the 730, you're going to be able to do this many channels of analytics, right? It just makes the, you know, as integrators and as manufacturers out there, you guys probably know the challenge of selling analytics. One of the biggest challenges is what hardware do I need to run the analytics, right? Boiling it down into like a single box like this, you basically can remove that part of the kind of confusing part of the sales process, and it makes it easier for sales guys to sell it, and it makes it easier for end users to understand because, hey, there's this box, you can put 8 cameras on it with PoE, it'll automatically discover them, and then you can just activate your analytic and it'll be able to run analytics across all these 8 channels, for example. So it just simplifies the entire sales process for deep learning driven analytics and object-based analytics. Because of that, it's just a package solution kind of ready to go. So, sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Well said. So last one, AI plus VMS gateway, done. So that's what Tony covered earlier. This one will basically have it already been tested. Right, the next will be product demo.
Yeah, and I got to take over for this one because I've got it set up in my office. So let's hope
Nice.
The demo gods are smiling at us. Let me launch it real fast. And if there are any questions out there, we got the Q&A in chat. So let us know. All right.
Yep.
Give me 1 second.
Feel free to fire away on the questions.
All right. So you guys should be seeing my screen. So you can see here I've got the NX Witness running. I got my different systems that are connected to cloud. I'm going to click on the Advantech demo. It's running in a different version of the software right now. It's going to kick me off my screen sharing. I'll reshare it again. So now you see I've logged into the system. I've got 4 cameras connected to it, right? This is my abandoned office during the pandemic. You see I got 4 cameras. If I pull in the Advantech server here, these are all 1080p cameras running at full frame rate, full resolution. Whoop, killed me again. All right. Let's share that again. And since I'm running a beta version, it's decided it wants to log me out every once in a while today. So you have to be patient if it keeps kicking me off. All right, let's try that again. So you see I got my cameras running in here. If I pull the server in, you should be able to see the server CPU usage. RAM is running about 50% and CPU is about 22% with 4 cameras recording and some analytics running. The analytics that are running on it right now is actually a demo network from NVIDIA that just does people detection. So if I look at this camera here, you can see here a person is being detected. This is from the past, obviously. But you can see it's pulling in that information. It's running the client at the same time. And it's allowing me to jump through and look for every time there's been a person detected in the office. So it's a pretty basic demo. But you can see the level of performance of this device, even with 4 cameras and an active analytic running, is still at 21% CPU usage. And the RAM is, what's the RAM shipped with? 8 gigs?
Yes.
Yeah, so 8 gigs of RAM with analytic running, with cameras attached to it. You're still running 50% RAM and 21% CPU, right? And this includes a client installed on that device as well. If you open up the client on the device itself, you're going to see CPU usage go up because we're going to be decoding video and everything on that client. But right now it's acting as a pure server, and the numbers on it are really exceedingly low, right? And I've been running this box untouched for I think over 2 months now. I think you sent it to me in early February, Brian, right?
Yes, I did.
And it hasn't gone offline once during this entire time. Every time I've logged into it, it's been available. So it's very stable with the Linux environment, even in a prototype stage where we've just got our standard NX Witness running on it with no kind of, even actually a beta version of the NX Witness platform running on it, with no special kind of configurations on it all. So it's an impressive little device. You can see it right here, actually, on the, let me pull it back again so you can see it a little clearer. So this is the Advantech box right down here running on my desk. So we've got all the cameras are plugged in into the PoE as well. So it's actually providing power to the cameras in my demo system. So pretty cool stuff. Any questions? All right, Brian, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Okay.
Raymond raised his hand. Raymond, do you have a question? I can allow you to talk if you'd like. No? All right. Well, all right. So since it's Friday, I guess we get to get out of here early because there are no questions. Apparently, we explained everything. Oh, Raymond's figuring out his mic. All right. Well, Raymond, you can type your question and we'll be happy to answer it as well.
I see the Q&A pop in.
So have any works of NX certified? No, not yet, Patrick. The demo network you saw running was done by a partner in Belgium who is developing lots of different integrations, AIQ. So there are solutions out there that work on the ARM environment, but we don't have a partner participating in the MIC-730IV yet. The general idea being, if you're a manufacturer and you want to take this box and you want to customize it, then you have more sway with the analytics providers than me, who's going to say, hey, can you please take the time to do a demo for us and create an ARM-based version of your analytic that'll run on here. That being said, I mean, I've talked to some of the partners like Vision Labs and NeuroVision, and they're all very interested in porting their solution into this environment because they already work with NVIDIA Jetson and NVIDIA hardware itself, but they have to create the ARM installer package. Is there a list of type of analytics the system is capable of? I think I just answered the same question, Brandon, which is that basically any analytic that's able to run in an ARM environment should be able to run on this device, but you're going to have to work with the analytics provider to make sure that they have a package that can be installed on the device. So we have not, because this is a prototype device, right? Brian gave me this early. So this is a prototype device that isn't mass manufactured yet, correct, Brian?
Yes, will be mass production by end of May, but we do have quite a few units available, can be sent out.
Yeah, so there are units available for evaluation right now, but there are no specific analytics partners that works with now. We've talked to a couple of them, like I said, Vision Labs, NeuroVision, Centurion Neurolytics, and they're all interested in doing it, but they need a project or a partner that wants to do it with them from a business perspective. Will any OnVIF camera work? Yes, because NX Witness is, or any other powered by NX product is running on this, then any cameras that work with powered by NX products will work the exact same way with this device. So multi-channel, multi-sensor cameras, PTZ, fisheye, all of them, right? In terms of licenses per NVR, it's the same, right? Any licensing for a powered by NX product is going to apply to this device as well. There is no special licenses required. It's just another piece of hardware to us, right? So it's per camera or per device that's connected to the server. Any other questions?
So if there are participants, our audience, if you are outside of North America and you'll still like to get in touch with Advantech, feel free to drop me an email. It's on the screen, or call me. I'll be more than happy to connect you with our local reps there.
And you guys are spanning the globe, I assume.
Yes, we have, as of today, we have 150 something office. So major continent, major countries, we have local office there. It's not may not be a full scale as WLPDA sites, but at least the sales and support are available locally.
And that date at the bottom is wrong, obviously. It's 2020.
Yes, good eye.
Any other questions? Who handles tech support? Well, I mean, for the device itself, would be Advantech, right? But that would be like tier 3 level support, where the manufacturer or the integrator who's bought the device will be talking to Advantech, right? For the powered by NX products, it's the same as normal support. You go through your manufacturer or your reseller or your distributor that's actually selling the product, get tech support. It's just another server, guys. So it's like if you bought a Dell 1U rack-mounted server, right? To Brian's point earlier, it's kind of overkill in a lot of times. If you have to buy a big server to do a few cameras with analytics, because you need a GPU card, well, then you're spending more money on both the GPU card and on the server itself. This device is much smaller, all in one, includes a PoE switch. So you're talking about bringing the cost of the solution down significantly, because you're not buying a 1U server and a GPU card and a PoE switch. Now you're just buying this box and it's all ready to go, right? Any other question?
So if you'd like to have us preload NX, that's something we can work with you as well. So it can save you the time.
Yeah, so for manufacturers powered by NX products, if they want you to preload once, let's say they contact one of our partners, they get the ARM solution that runs, they test it, right? I'm assuming you'll ship them a sample unit so they can test it in-house.
Yeah.
Once they got it to the configuration they like and everything's stable and good, then they could contact you guys and say like, well, this is the software image I'd like to preload on this thing. And you guys would do all the setup, all the loading, all the installing the hard drives. So it's just a package solution ready to go out the door.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct. So one thing we do additional, and we do that to a lot of customer, is if you like to keep a fixed configuration or there's certain setup you like to do on the system, you like to make sure all the future system goes that way, let us know. We'll basically we'll create a dedicated part number for you based on your configuration. So when you're going to order for you guys to order, just place the order based on that particular part number that you'll ship out exact the same configurations, same hardware, in software and hardware both, for all the systems to come. So we make it very simple for you.
And then Advantech, you guys sell, one of the questions was through distribution or direct. So if you're an integrator, should they, like, I guess the question is, do you sell directly to integrators or is it only the bigger manufacturers?
We sell direct, so it's really up to you. If you like to deal with distributors because they provide a certain value for you, we're open. Let us know which one we need to work with. But if you like to purchase direct, we can do that as well. Because this is a solution base, it's really up to you. We're flexible on the business model.
In general, I've noticed that a lot of the hardware manufacturers, even the Dells and everybody, have really reduced the MOQs and then are willing to work more directly with kind of integrators on solutions.
Yeah.
Is that because like the manufacturing process itself is just more efficient than it used to be?
Well,
what is the driver behind that?
The driver behind it, because not a whole lot of people want to carry inventory anymore. So it end up we have to. So
more about just-in-time kind of delivery. Of
exactly.
So in that instance, like a distributor adds less value. Because
yes, distributor now play more of their. If your end customer, we're seeing more and more distributor doing that warehousing for same-day delivery. So we're seeing more and more warehouse being built. But at the same time, if you don't need to have that kind of service, and the driver behind is we can do as little as 1 unit. So you don't have to do 10, 50 units. The whole thing is how can we better manage? And let's say it will require some conversation to make sure our supply and inventory, because the value of Advantech, we have such a broad portfolio, but at the same time to keep the whole portfolio in-house is very difficult. So we keep a very close conversation. If you like us to fix on particular model and you let us know kind of roughly how many you're gonna need, we'll work with PM to bring those products in.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Any other questions? You can ask anything. All right. I'm going to assume that there are no more questions, and it's approaching the hour cutoff time anyways. Since it's Friday, I wish everybody a good weekend, and stay safe out there during this interesting time that we're facing.
Yeah.
And if you got any questions about this device, feel free to reach out to Brian. His contact information is right there, and this webinar will be up on our mind.network.com and our YouTube channel shortly. And feel free to reach out with any questions. Don't drink Lysol, Patrick. That's wrong. Do that. Don't inject or drink Lysol. It's kind of interesting we have to say that these days.
Stay away.
All right, everybody. Well, have a good weekend, and thank you guys for your time. And thank you for jumping on here to check out the Advantech 730IVA. It's a really cool device. I would encourage kind of investigating it more, especially for our Powered by NX partners out there that are building hardware and software solutions combined and selling turnkey solutions. It's a really interesting device. And Advantech overall, you know, we do the Atom IO devices with them. And basically, Brian, you guys aren't just limited to these smaller boxes as well. You do the traditional 2U,
Yes.
and everything, right?
Yeah,
So,
we do 1U, 2U, 4U servers, tower servers. We do remote sensor, as you mentioned, Atom, digital input output, all sorts. There's over 100 models of those. So
yeah,
if you're looking for
it's
something, let us
overwhelming.
know.
I'll be honest. I got Brian's first presentation, and it had everything. Right? It was like last year. We were planning on doing a Works with Exit webinar, and the amount of products that these guys carry is pretty impressive. So they can really cover a lot of needs. So
Yes. So if you got lost on our website, let me know. I'll try to guide you through it.
all right, everybody. Thank you again. Have a great
Thanks,
weekend.
everybody.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you for your time.
Stay safe.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.